My name is Larry Kane. I'm a Ph.D. basic immunologist here at University of Pittsburgh, and I've been working in the general field of immunology for over 20 years now, and kind of first got into immunology and got interested in immunology when I worked as a technician at the Dana-Farber back in the early 1990s before I went to grad school. And so I worked with a T-cell lab there at the Dana-Farber, and it was kind of an exciting time. So there was a lot of cool research going on there, and kind of convinced me that I could do that on a day-to-day basis and actually have fun in the lab, and I enjoyed the work a lot. So then I decided to go to grad school after that initial work at the Dana-Farber. So my aha moment, that's a good question. I don't know if I had a single aha moment. I guess it might go back to 20 something years ago. So after I got out of college and I was working as a technician, and I was sort of undecided about what I wanted to do. I had thought about going to medical school, and but then started working in this lab full time, and I was really had a great project with a really excellent mentor, good postdoc in the lab. And he really encouraged me, and I became a really kind of important part of that lab. And I think at maybe after about 6 months or a year of working there, and I really looked forward to going to work, and it was really it was a great environment, and I felt like being in the lab was really what I wanted to do, I guess, at that point. And that's when I then decided to apply to graduate school at that point. One of the things I learned Friday night from going to this thing for Lefrancois was just how, and I sort of knew him a bit. So he was a member of or chair of our publications, or of our programming committee, who passed away last summer. That really what the huge impact he's had on people in this field, and just to see the kind of response of everybody coming out at this meeting and really saying great things about him and the impact that he had on them. And then scientifically, I've met some new potential collaborators from companies and universities, a couple of people who I'm going to try to work with in the near future. So yeah, so it's already been a productive meeting in that sense. What have we done to help advance the field of immunology? So my lab is really focused on specific intracellular signaling pathways and trying to understand mechanisms by which they work. And it's a little bit different from what a lot of people do in this field, which are kind of more animal-based, disease model experiments, but we're kind of more interested in the really basic mechanistic details and developing things that could be potential drug targets. And I think that work is really important to help guide that kind of research. And so, yeah, I think my lab has done a pretty good job of trying to uncover some new pathways inside cells that could be potential drug targets. So the thing that keeps me coming back to AI year after year is really the collegiality, I think, and the really tremendous people in the field. And so people I've met over every stage of my career, and people I continue to meet at these meetings. And I think it's a great field that way. People are very engaged and interactive, and generally willing to help each other out. So I really enjoy coming to this meeting for that reason. I really like the ability of trainees, so like my graduate students and postdocs, to get a chance to present their work here at the meeting, in a kind of national meeting setting. And I think it's a really great experience for them to do that. And I really enjoy seeing students and postdocs kind of further develop as a result of that. The posters are still advantageous, I think, in that they're you're seeing the work as it's kind of coming along before it's ready to publish, and in the early phases, and it can be really a good chance to maybe get some novel ideas that you hadn't considered. So, I mean, advice I would give to people coming up in the field is, if you're really passionate about doing science, is to commit to doing it and to do it well. I think there's kind of a lot of cynicism these days because of the difficulties with funding. But I still think it's a worthwhile pursuit, and I think the meeting like this, shows that, and that, it's not going away, and that you still meet all these really enthusiastic trainees, and that's one of the fun things about being in academia is being able to meet, enthusiastic new people who are coming up and try to help them maintain that enthusiasm and not become too cynical. So that, yeah, I would say just, if you're passionate about the science, is to keep doing it and do it well, and you'll have opportunities in the future.